over wealth survey vow.
कांग्रेस के शहजादे का कहना है कि उनकी सरकार आई, किसके पास कितना धन है, किसके पास कितने मकान है, उसकी जांच कराएंगे।
Fires Shehzada wants wealth survey drive.
अब इनकी नजर कानून बदलकर हमारी माताओं बहनों की संपत्ति छीनने का भी खेल खेला जा रहा है।
Modi recalls Manmohan's Muslim first vow. Claims Congress inspired by Naxal mentality.
और फिर उस संपत्ति को बांट देंगे और उनको बांटेंगे जिनको मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार ने कहा था कि संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है।
State Award 2024. Top focus on 5 Live.
From a speech by Manmohan Singh in 2006 to a rally speech by Prime Minister Modi in 2024, the politics has lit up right in the middle of 2024's big election. I'm going to take you to the base of what happens now that the Congress has complained to the Election Commission. But before that, top stories at 5. Congress versus Prime Minister Modi escalates. Congress delegations move Election Commission against Prime Minister Modi's infiltrator remark. Demands Election Commission action against the Prime Minister. BJP opens its Lok Sabha tally in Gujarat's Surat. BJP candidate wins unopposed after Congress candidate's nomination cancelled and independents withdraw. Big setback for the Mamata Banerjee government. Calcutta High Court cancels 2016 job panel for teacher recruitment. CBI to continue probe in the scam, given free hand to arrest any accused. 24,000 teachers will be losing their jobs thanks to this scam under the Trinamool government. Legal war over Kejriwal's health continues at Delhi's Tihar jail. Delhi court denies doctor video consult for the Delhi chief minister, says a special AIMS panel will decide on Kejriwal's insulin request. Outrage and protests continue over the shocking Hubli stabbing in Karnataka. Wide protests over deteriorating law and order held. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah says the BJP is deliberately trying to make it a bigger issue. It's the big twist this week in the 2024 election. Even before the results of this election are declared, the BJP has scored one seat in the Lok Sabha election of 2024, and that is the seat in Surat. But the manner in which the BJP has managed to win the Surat seat is now the subject of a fierce fight between the BJP and the Congress party. The Congress is now gunning for the BJP after the Surat candidate has won for the BJP. The Congress says democracy is under threat. The Congress says the BJP Surat candidate has won without any opposition. We'll tell you the details of how this actually happened, because viewer, you must be wondering, how did he win unopposed? What happened to the Congress candidate? What happened to the independent candidates? Hold on for a moment. I'm going to explain that whole sequence of events to you and tell you why the Congress is up in arms. The BJP, the Congress says, is attempting to match fix the Surat Lok Sabha election. Here's the first word in from Mukesh Dalal, the BJP candidate, who is now the Lok Sabha MP from Surat, unopposed. And remember, this is even before Gujarat has gone to the polls, even before results day. The first Lok Sabha victory has already been announced, and that is the seat of Surat in Gujarat. Take a look at what Mukesh Dalal has said.
नरेंद्र भाई मोदी साहब નું જે લક્ષ્યાંક છે अब के बार 400 પાર તે દિશામાંનું પહેલું કદમ છે, ફર્સ્ટ સ્ટેપ છે. આ જે જાહેરાત છે તે સુનિશ્ચિત કરે છે કે 2024 ની લોકસભામાં ભારતીય જનતા પાર્ટી એનડીએ ખૂબ ઊંચી સોસાયટી અને 400+ મતથી જીતશે. આભાર.
Or the politicians, because remember the BJP says it has won this seat fair and square even before the election because there's no contest. There's no independent candidate. There's no Congress candidate. The officer, the election commission officer has disqualified the candidates of the Congress party because apparently the proposers' signatures appeared to be questionable. Attempts to contact them were not successful and therefore only protocol was being followed. But I want to bring in India Today's Brijesh Doshi from Ahmedabad to give us a clear picture of this. Brijesh, Jairam Ramesh says chronology samjhiye and he's given a sequence of events. Can you tell us from your perspective reporting on this story कि chronology क्या है, ये कैसे हुआ, what has happened?
See, Shiv, this has been the amazing story for the BJP and all the voters as well. Mukesh Dalal is the first BJP MP who has won the election unopposed. This is in the history of BJP or the history of Gujarat. He is the first MP to win the election unopposed. So this is a kind of a history created before the election in Gujarat. So this is a big boost for the BJP ahead of the voting of the Gujarat when Gujarat goes to the poll on the 7th May. The chronology is very simple. Just 48 hours ago, there was an affidavit received by the returning officer or the election officer, the district collector of Surat, that the Congress candidates, three supporters or the three proposals, they have said that the signature on the Nilesh Kumbhani's form are not there. So there was a glitch in the signatures of the proposals or the supporters of the Nilesh Kumbhani, and that's why the returning officer has questioned the Congress candidates that where are the three supporters of yours who have claimed that these are not their signatures. After 24 hours, Nilesh Kumbhani has given the legal fight as well to the returning officer, but it all went into the vain. He wasn't able to prove, or he wasn't able to proceed that all the three supporters are with him. Though they three all are the relatives of the Nilesh Kumbhani, still he was not able to produce them to the before the returning officer. So that's why Nilesh Kumbhani's candidature was cancelled or rejected by the returning officer, as well as his dummy candidate, who has the same three supporters, whose candidature was also rejected on the same grounds. So both the forms of the Congress candidates were rejected by the returning officer yesterday 12 p.m. After that,
Brijesh, who are these proposers? Who are these proposers who are refusing to come forward, refusing to take calls, refusing to validate themselves? ये कौन है ये लोग?
All these three proposals are the all these three proposals are the relatives of the Nilesh Kumbhani, who is the authorized candidate of the Congress party. So they are the family members of the Nilesh Kumbhani. Still, he was not able to produce them into the collector
Why
office.
have they backed out? Why are they not cooperating with Mr. Kumbhani? Brijesh, why are they not cooperating? If they are proposers, then they should come forward and tell the electoral officer that this is valid, this is our signature, we are proposing this man. Why are they backing out?
See, officially Nilesh Kumbhani has said nothing onto the camera, but as per the sources, everyone is claiming that Nilesh Kumbhani has sit down against the BJP, and there was some backdoor deal with the BJP. That's why they were not able to produce the relatives of the Nilesh Kumbhani. So these are the information given by the sources. Though Nilesh Kumbhani didn't say anything onto the camera, still Congress has claimed, Congress President, State President Shakti Singh Gohil has alleged the foul cry done by the BJP, and he said that this is a murder of the democracy in the state of Gujarat, the state which belongs to Mahatma Gandhi and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. So these kind of allegations were done yesterday as well, today as well. The Congress has said that this is the murder of the democracy, and that's why Jairam Ramesh has said the chronology samajhiye. Why you have to understand the chronology. What has happened? But no one is saying
there is something missing
about the deal has been done with
the Congress. You're making a very interesting point, Brijesh. You're saying that there's possibly some kind of backdoor discussion happening with the Congress's candidate Nilesh Kumbhani. But the fact remains that he has been unable to get his proposers to validate his nomination for this election, which makes it look very bad. And the same three proposers were there for the dummy candidate or the substitute candidate of the Congress party. And therefore, both those nominations have basically been scrapped by the electoral officer. So the Congress is crying foul. They are saying this is foul play. They are saying this is democracy ki hatya. They are saying that this is match fixing at its worst by the BJP. Shakti Singh Goyal in Gujarat, Jairam Ramesh, who heads the media cell of the Congress party, has said it in an official statement as well. I want to bring in for a perspective on this Rohan Gupta, who is a freshly minted BJP leader, until a few weeks ago part of the Congress party in Gujarat. He knows the ins and outs of the Congress in Gujarat, and in fact was even given a ticket to fight for the Congress in Gujarat, but he had to decline it owing to some personal issues, and then he crossed over to the BJP. Rohan, welcome. Good to see you. What do you make of this Surat turn of events, Rohan? What's going on? It looks really weird because here we are covering an election. एक phase तो खत्म हो गया. We're waiting for the next phase. Gujarat is on May 7th. And the Surat candidate has already won the election because everyone else has pulled out. How do you see this? What's going on?
I think, Shiv, there can be two issues. One is procedural issue and one is the intention of the candidate, right? Both the things, whatever is the party, I am not trying to defend anybody or say in favor of anybody. Both the points are concerned. I think the party needs to take care of both the things. If it is a procedural issue and the proposer of the candidate are saying that they have not signed the document or they cannot remain present, and in that case, if the form is cancelled, definitely they can go to High Court and let the High Court decide. Whatever is right, the law should prevail. I am not against anything on that. So, but then that should be respected, point number one. And point number two, saying that there is an intention of candidate not to fight, then also I think the party should introspect what is the reason. So I think both the reason, rather than telling it as a democracy under threat, I think it needs introspection that why it has happened and what is responsible, who is responsible for this. And if the law says, and after application in High Court, if High Court says, no, this is wrong, obviously everybody will have to believe that. But if High Court says that the procedure is followed and as per procedure, if proposals are not available for verification or for signature verification, this can be cancelled. I think we should respect that also. So I don't think that everywhere you have to make politics saying that it is democracy under threat and all. But you should respect the law, the final verdict.
I understand what you're saying. The Congress is free to approach, the courts in order to get justice if they think that democracy has been murdered. But what do you think, Rohan? You've been on the inside as far as the Gujarat Congress is concerned. How is it possible that the proposers of a Lok Sabha candidate from a high-profile, important constituency like Surat, suddenly either pull out or refuse to validate their signatures, refuse to take calls? ये कैसे हो सकता है?
It's surprising. It is really surprising why this has happened. Because when you say proposer, obviously they are the closest people of the
family members,
of the candidate. And this happens, I think it is surprising. Needs to be introspection, needs to be done. Proper introspection in terms of the intention of the candidate also and the procedural. Both the introspection should be done and the reason should be found out.
Jairam Ramesh, who you know very well, has said in his tweet, the distress and anger faced by MSME owners and business people in Modi's Anyay Kal has spooked the BJP. His allegation or his insinuation is that the BJP has turned the screws on the business community, and therefore the independents also who were fighting, they've also pulled out. The family members of Nilesh Kumbhani, they've also backed out. So they're saying that ye BJP ka khel hai. How would you respond to that?
देखिए, जिस व्यक्ति का आप ट्वीट दिखा रहे हैं, मुझे उन्हीं के आपत्ति के कारण ही मैंने जब पार्टी को छोड़ा, तो again there is a contradiction. You are raising four fingers to somebody. You are not ready to do introspection. You just interview the candidate and find out the reason. If whatever reasons are said here that it is done by BJP, the candidate will speak, no? You cannot just keep on blaming. Number one, if it is a procedural lapse, I think the people who are handling the legal side of the nominations, they should be blamed. If it is an intentional side, then again there should be question on party, what pressure he should come out. Party should ensure that if there is pressure that it should come on public forum. But just blaming for the sake of it when something happens wrong, I think people will not accept. I think you have to prove the reason that if it is a procedural lapse, Then they have to go to High Court, get the ruling. Whatever High Court said should be acceptable to everybody. If it is an intentional issue, if there is any pressure, then also they should make it public. But I think just blaming in air, I think people will not accept.
No, I agree with you that the courts should be, approached if any such allegation is being made, because otherwise it just remains in the realm of political tutu meme. But my final question, Rohan, is this in your view, and I'm asking for your personal view, is this another instance? See, because the Congress can continue to say ki BJP ka pressure aa gaya, BJP's fear tactics, dirty tricks, etc. My question is this another example, perhaps, I'm only conjecturing here and I want to know what you think, of the Congress losing control? It can't keep its flock together. It's unable to, control and discipline its people, to follow the party's writ. And that's why this kind of thing is happening. And the Congress is not weak in Gujarat. The Congress is a powerful force in Gujarat.
See, my only belief is, when I left party also, I always want, wherever I was, to introspect themselves. You cannot, for everything, you cannot blame others, Maybe out of 10 things, you can blame for 1 to 2 things. But for all 10 things you blame others, that is not correct. Even this point also. Either it is a procedural left or there is intention. Both ways. If you feel that this is wrong, definitely you have to prove it to the people of the country. They will not take political allegations, just something has happened wrong, So that is my limited point here. Whatever is truth, it should prevail. And the party should be strong enough to prove that in minds of people, just rather than blaming it on air, saying that, okay, this is the killing of democracy or death of democracy, because they are the relatives of the candidate which has been declared by the party.
True.
They are not the third party. If there is any pressure, that should also come out. If it is a lapse of procedure, that also should come out. And then once it is out and then you speak, I think people will accept it. But just talking in air without any kind of substance behind that, people will not accept it.
All right. Rohan Gupta, thanks very much for speaking to India Today and taking my questions on this developing story. Surat has already been won by the BJP. Will the Congress convert its anger and dismay over the BJP's victory unopposed in the Surat Lok Sabha seat and make it a legal case? That's the big question. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. For the moment, that's it on this particular story. Let's move on to the other big political bombshell of the week. And it began with the Prime Minister's speech in Banswara in Rajasthan yesterday. Prime Minister Modi has breathed fire once again at the BJP's Aligarh rally in Uttar Pradesh. And yet another no-holds-barred attack on the Congress and its guarantees. Prime Minister Modi labelled the Congress manifesto as an attempt to implement urban Naxal ideology. He fired a Shehzada jibe once again at Rahul Gandhi, referring to his poll pledge to do a wealth survey if voted to power and redistribute wealth. The Prime Minister accused the Grand Old Party of aiming to conduct a survey to seize assets and redistribute wealth in the country.
कांग्रेस के शहजादे का कहना है कि उनकी सरकार आई तो कौन कितना कमाता है, किसके पास कितनी प्रॉपर्टी है, किसके पास कितना धन है, किसके पास कितने मकान है, उसकी जांच कराएंगे। इतना ही नहीं, वो आगे कहते हैं कि ये जो संपत्ति है उनको सरकार अपने कब्जे में लेकर उसको सबको बांट देगी, ये कहते हैं। ये मैनिफेस्टो उनका कह रहा है। वो सर्वे करना चाहते हैं कि जो नौकरी पेशा वर्ग है, जो कर्मचारी हैं, उन्होंने अपनी बच्चों की पढ़ाई के लिए, बच्चों की शादी के लिए जो एफडी की है, फिक्स डिपॉजिट की है, किसकी कितनी सैलरी और कितनी एफडी है, उसकी भी जांच होगी। किसके पास एक वाहन है, किसके पास 2 वाहन है, उसकी भी जांच होगी। यानी किसके पास कितनी जमीन है, उसकी भी जांच होगी। व्हीकल कितने हैं, उसकी जांच होगी। कांग्रेस इसका सर्वे कराएगी और फिर कांग्रेस कब्जा करेगी। सरकार के नाम पर कब्जा करके आपकी संपत्ति को छीन करके बांटने की बात कर रही है।
अभी अभी कांग्रेस पार्टी को मिर्ची लगी है। मोदी जी ने उनके घोषणा पत्र में से सबकी संपत्ति का सर्वे करने का कहा है। मोदी जी ने कल कहा क्यों करना है इस सर्वे को। कांग्रेस पार्टी पूरी नरेंद्र मोदी पर सवाल उठा रही है। मैं आज कांग्रेस पार्टी को पूछना चाहता हूं, आपके घोषणा पत्र में सर्वे की बात है या नहीं है। राहुल बाबा देश के नाम में स्पष्ट करे। और मनमोहन सिंह, आपके प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा था संसाधन पर पहला अधिकार माइनॉरिटी का है, आदिवासी दलित का नहीं है।
जो आदमी अपनी हिम्मत खो लेता है और जिसके पास बोलने के लिए कुछ मुद्दे नहीं है तो ऐसी चीजें लाते हैं। अगर उनके पास उनके ठोस मुद्दे हैं, ठोस काम है, वो बता सकते हैं जो जनता के भलाई के लिए और सबके लिए है। तो उनके पास कुछ नहीं बोलने के लिए, वो हमेशा कांग्रेस को टीका करते हैं या अपोजिशन। और खास करके आजकल तो ये बोल रहे हैं कि इंडिया गठबंधन, वहाँ कुछ भी नहीं है, कोई लीडर नहीं है। अरे लीडर, गठबंधन में लीडर पैदा होता है बाद में, पहले ही थोड़ा ही करते हैं। कभी भी ऐसा नहीं हुआ।
लोग जो असदुद्दीन जैसे लोग होते हैं, इनको देश का तरक्की के बारे में नहीं पड़ा है। बार बार देश को बंटवारा करने की जोश में रहते हैं लोग। कभी असदुद्दीन ने बैठकर गिनती की है उन बच्चों में कितने बच्चे पढ़ाई करके तरक्की की है? ये नहीं सोचता असदुद्दीन। असदुद्दीन को वोट गिनने में इंटरेस्ट है। उनको भड़काकर उनके जिंदगी भर 1000 जन्म लिए तो भी मोदी भाई को समझ नहीं पाएंगे।
When he says the Congress party is going to take all your wealth and give it to the Muslims, that this is just a nakedly communal appeal which normally any civilized election commission would disallow and warn the candidate for speaking like this. It's simply not decent, number one. Number two, it has never happened. The Congress party is constantly accused by Mr. Modi of having ruled the country for 65 years. Have we taken away people's wealth and given it to the Muslim community? What nonsense is this talk? How can the Prime Minister, a man I respect as the Prime Minister of India, how could he talk like this? I'm truly disappointed.
जिस तरह का दुष्प्रचार हो रहा है कि मोदी जी जो है आएंगे तो संविधान खत्म हो जाएगा, लोकतंत्र खत्म हो जाएगा, ये उस नेता के लिए कह रहे हैं जो नेता की लोकतंत्र के मंदिर पे मत्था टेक करके और अपने सीने से संविधान को लगा करके अपने सुशासन के सफर को 10 सालों तक आगे बढ़ाते हुए आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। उनके लिए आप इस तरह के दुष्प्रचार कर रहे हैं। तो निश्चित तौर से इस तरह का दुष्प्रचार इस बात का प्रतीक है कि आपका अभी से जो है वो हार का हैंगओवर और ये डिफीट का डिप्रेशन सर चढ़ के बोल रहा है।
प्रधानमंत्री ने एक ऐसा भाषण दिया जिससे लगता है कि पहली चरण के जो मतदान हैं उनके पक्ष में नहीं जा रहे। 1950 के बाद शायद ही ऐसा बयान किसी प्रधानमंत्री ने दिया होगा जो इशारा करता है कि हमारे जो अल्पसंख्यक यहाँ तब से रह रहे हैं वो घुसपैठिए हैं।
And I remember this entire flashpoint is around what the Prime Minister said in Banswara in Rajasthan at a rally over the weekend in reference to what his predecessor, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, had said in a speech in 2006. Listen in to what the Prime Minister of India now said and what Manmohan Singh had said in 2006.
We need to be revitalized. We will have to devise innovative plans to ensure that minorities, particularly the Muslim minority, are empowered to share equitably in the fruits of development. They must have the first claim on our resources.
क्या आपकी संपत्ति को आपने मेहनत करके कमाई हुई संपत्ति को सरकार को ऐंठने का अधिकार है क्या? ये कांग्रेस का मैनिफेस्टो कह रहा है कि वो माताओं बहनों का सोने का हिसाब करेंगे, उसकी जड़ती करेंगे, जानकारी लेंगे और फिर उस संपत्ति को बांट देंगे और उनको बांटेंगे जिनको मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार ने कहा था कि संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है।
And the Congress has now officially complained to the Election Commission against Prime Minister Modi's comment in that speech in Banswara in Rajasthan. The Congress complaint in the Election Commission is over the Prime Minister's attack on the Congress manifesto guarantee on wealth redistribution, where the Prime Minister referred to infiltrators and a priority for Muslims as promised by Manmohan Singh in that speech in 2006. The Congress has demanded Election Commission action against Prime Minister Modi. Here's what Abhishek Manu Singhvi of the Congress party, who led that delegation, has just said.
Unfortunately, the statement we have quoted is seriously, ridiculously objectionable. We can never expect this from as eloquent a Prime Minister as our Prime Minister. We would pray to him with folded hands to withdraw these comments, to clarify, and we have asked for the Election Commission to state that this is the position in law. We will do in his respect whatever we do with others. He has therefore clearly violated Section 123. This is a very serious, uncalled for invasion, and we hope and trust, because the Election Commission itself is on trial, that irrespective of the status of the person who has done this, appropriate action as in any other case will and must follow shortly.
The horrifying murder of Neha Hiremat, a college student, daughter of a Congress corporator in Karnataka's Hubli, has not only become the Karnataka BJP's biggest issue, but it's become a national story. The Karnataka BJP has held statewide protest today over the murder of Neha Hiremat. The case has now been transferred to the CID. The victim's father has alleged a conversion bid by the murderer. Here's more. 4 days after the shocking murder of Neha Hiremat at her college in Hubli, Karnataka, there's widespread outrage over the crime caught on CCTV camera. The BJP on Monday held statewide protests against the Siddaramaiah government over the law and order situation in the state. Protesters demanded capital punishment for the accused Fayaz, who's in police custody. Neha Hiremat's father has alleged love jihad. He claims attempts were made to convert the victim.
I say directly it is a love jihad. Such families, such girls, they are proposing every time. They want to see either you, my proposal is coming, you either you join me, otherwise they tell to take kidnap or other murder.
Law and order has collapsed in the state of Karnataka. This is a fit case of love jihad, clearly. And yet, Siddaramaiah does not act because he wants to side with the criminals, seeing their religion.
The state government has transferred the investigation to the CID.
ಹುಬ್ಬಳ್ಳಿ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಹುಬ್ಬಳ್ಳಿ ಇನ್ಸಿಡೆಂಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು CODಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವಿಶೇಷ ನ್ಯಾಯಾಲಯ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಬೌಂಡಾಗಿ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಶೀಟ್ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು, ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ.
Neha's family has welcomed the Siddaramaiah government's actions.
CID ಕೊಟ್ಟೇನಂತೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಪ್ರಥಮವಾಗಿ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು CID ವಹಿಸಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅಭಿನಂದನೆ ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸಮಾಜದ ಮುಖಂಡರು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸಂಘ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲಾ ರೈತಾಂಗ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲಾರ ವತಿಯಿಂದ ಏನು ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡಿ ಮನವಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟರು.
BJP President JP Nadda met Neha Hiremat's family on Sunday in Hubli. He accused the state government of being soft on anti-social elements.
जो वक्तव्य मुख्यमंत्री सिद्धारमैया जी का सुनने को मिला और जो वक्तव्य मुझे गृह मंत्री जी परमेश्वरम जी का मिला, वह अत्यंत ही आपत्तिजनक है। यदि स्टेट पुलिस असमर्थ है तो मैं सरकार को कहूंगा, प्रदेश को, कि वह सीबीआई को हैंडल करे।
We don't mind, let them hand over, let them do whatever they want. They are not eligible. Karnataka government will deal it with its own way. There is no question of it.
First the blast at a popular Bengaluru cafe, and now the horrific campus murder of a college student. Law and order has become a big election issue in Karnataka amidst the Lok Sabha polls.
Today, pro-Hindu activists and BJP supporters positively responded to this and protested across the state. Karnataka government had also handed over the case to COD. Even the family members have congratulated Chief Minister on this particular decision. The question is, will politics take the center stage of this particular murder in the days to come? With you, Shagun Sagairaj reporting for India Today, Bengaluru.
And remember, protests have been taking place in different parts of Karnataka today. The BJP in the state that goes to the polls at the end of this week has raised the stakes. JP Nadda met with the family of the girl as well. It's already a communally charged atmosphere, but I do want to mention that the Anjuman-e-Islam, which is an influential Muslim group, has expressed solidarity with the family of Neha Hiremat. As you can see in the pictures on your screen, Muslim shops have downed their shutters in a show of support and solidarity with the Hiremat family as well. So attempts are being made to keep the harmony and keep the peace in a communally charged atmosphere. And on our behalf, we'd like to tell, through our platform as well, for people not to believe any rumors. And in the hope that the investigation will continue, there will be justice for Neha Hiremat, and that things can be brought to closure very, very soon. I want to go across now for an update on that investigation with India Today's Sagai Raj, who joins me live. Sagai, the BJP has obviously upped the ante 3 days after this crime was committed. Neha Hiremat's father has also said many more things. He's talking about conversion attempts of Neha by, her friend Fayaz. He's talked about various other things. What are the investigators saying at this time?
There are a series of allegations made by the family members of Neha Hiremat as well as pro-Hindu activists and BJP workers. And if you notice, Shiv, there is also a video which has been circulated on social media where both Neha and Fayaz having good time when they were in college days. So subsequently, the people who have circulated that video were being arrested. Even the police say that they know each other. They are investigating further, but these were the prima facie. What we also get to learn through our sources from Hubballi is even the lawyers associations have sent out a notice saying that nobody should represent Fayaz in this particular case. And even the family members of Fayaz has said that he should be punished according to the law of the land, and even they have apologized. The family members have congratulated the Karnataka government to hand over the case to COD. As we speak now, the police are continuing their investigation, if at all, if there are any kind of leads connecting to the allegations made by the family members as well as pro-Hindu activists.
Okay, Sagai, thank you very much for getting us that update. In fact, we're joined live now from Hubli by Niranjan Hiremat. He is the father of Neha Hiremat, a grieving father who has been, speaking to the press, speaking to the media, and he joins me live on 5 Live today. Niranjan ji, thank you very much for speaking to India Today. I know this is an absolutely unspeakably difficult time for you and your family. Niranjan ji, it has been 4 days, kareeb 4 din ho gaye hain of your daughter's killing on campus. The politicians are visiting you, neta log aa rahe hain, media hai. First, I'd like to ask you on India Today's behalf, how are you doing right now, sir? How are you at home? How are things?
इसमें हम लोग पहले ही दुख में है और मेरे बेटे का हत्या होने के बाद हम लोग बहुत डिप्रेशन में चले गए। उसके बाद डेवलपमेंट जो आज आया है, मैंने 5 दिन से देख रहा हूँ, 24/7 1 घंटा भी नहीं छोड़ा है। मीडिया वाले ने ऑल ओवर इंडिया और वो ऑल ओवर वर्ल्ड तक ये वो पहुंचा दिया। ये इतना जस्टिस मिलने तक नहीं छोड़ेंगे करके सारे मीडिया से वो पीछे लग के उन्होंने किया हुआ है। उनको पहला मैं आभारी हूँ, हमारा फैमिली आभारी है और उनको मैं धन्यवाद कहता हूँ। उसके साथ साथ आज जो घटना घटी है, हम लोग बहुत ही दुख स्थिति में हैं।
जी निरंजन जी, आपने बोला है अगर ये लव जिहाद नहीं है तो क्या है। हमारी रिपोर्टर अनघा केशव को आपने बताया कि फयाज नेहा को कन्वर्ट करने की कोशिश कर रहा था, इसके बारे में और बताइए, आपने ऐसा क्यों बोला?
अभी फिलहाल जितने भी लोग इसमें इन्वॉल्वमेंट है ना, उनको आप अरेस्ट करो, उनको प्रशासन उनको अरेस्ट करने के बाद रिपोर्ट मिलेगी। मेरे को ऑलरेडी इंटरनल रिपोर्ट तो आ गई है। मैं कहने से आपको नहीं, उनको नहीं लग रहा है, कोई बात नहीं, हम नहीं कहेंगे, आप तहकीकात करो। नहीं है तो क्या है बताओ तो सही, इन्वेस्टिगेशन तो करो। वो भी नहीं करेंगे, ऐसे ही चुपचाप हाथ करके हम बैठेंगे, कितना दिन बैठेंगे? पूरा राज्य और पूरा देश इसको देख रहे, हर घर तालुका में देख रहे, तहसील में देख रहे हैं, हर गांव में ये चर्चा चल रही है। नेहा मेरा बेटी नहीं बनी, अभी ये स्टेट का बेटी बनी है, राज्य का बेटी बनी हुई है, देश का बेटी बनी हुई है। और मैं एक ही चाहता हूँ, मेरा बेटी जैसा दूसरा बेटी फिर इसी कांड से हत्या नहीं होना करके मेरा फैमिली से, मेरा उसका मदर से, मेरा परिवार से डिमांड है। और जितने भी लोग आज प्रोटेस्ट किए हुए थ्रू आउट कर्नाटका, थ्रू आउट इंडिया, वो लोग का डिमांड एक ही है कि इसको न्याय मिलना चाहिए, ये हत्यारों को एनकाउंटर चाहिए या नहीं तो फांसी का सजा चाहिए। इसी दबाव में प्रशासन जो है ना वो काम कर रही है, इसी का
अभी
प्रेशर में काम कर रही है। ये प्रेशर करने वाले कौन है और क्यों ये उधर ही उसको केस को दबाने चाहते हैं, मैं क्लियर करना चाहता हूँ।
निरंजन जी, हम आपके इमोशंस, आपका एंगर हम समझ सकते हैं, लेकिन मैं एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं आपसे। आप कांग्रेस पार्टी से हैं, जो कर्नाटका का रूलिंग पार्टी है। आपकी पार्टी ने ये जो लव जिहाद एंगल है, उस एंगल को पूरी तरह से डिनाई कर दिया, नकार कर दिया है। आप क्या बोलना चाहेंगे कांग्रेस कर्नाटका सरकार को, सीएम को, डिप्टी सीएम को, आप क्या बोलना चाहेंगे?
कल मेरे को डिप्टी सीएम डीके शिव कुमार जी फोन किए थे
जी।
मैंने कहीं हमारे नेता लोग है डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रेसिडेंट ग्रामीण के अध्यक्ष है, उनको मैंने हिंट दिया था, अनिल कुमार पाटिल जी है। उसके साथ साथ डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रेसिडेंट सिटी के महानगर जिले के अल्ताफ हड़ूर जी है एंड ऑल कम्युनिटी से कारपोरेटर मेरे साथ आए थे, मेरे पार्टी के, मेरे सहयोग उद्योगी थे। मेरे को पर्सनली उनके साथ थोड़ा बात किया करने, मैंने जो जानकारी था उनके सामने बताया। तुरंत उन्होंने हुबली से निकल के बेंगलोर जाके डीके शिव कुमार जी को गमन में लाया और सीएम को उनको रिपोर्ट दिया और गृह मंत्री जी को दिया। उनको बुरा लग के जितने लोग काम करना था, जितने हमारे निगम पार्षद थे, जितने भी हमारे प्रेसिडेंट थे, सारे समाज के लोग, सारे एसोसिएशन के लोग और सारे अपना स्टूडेंट के यूनियन वाले और सारे मीडिया, सारा पॉलिटिशियन लीडर और सारे समाज के साधु संत लोग, सबके साथ वो ऑलरेडी वो डिस्कशन में होके उनको पहुंचाया। उसके बाद थोड़ा सरकार को अच्छी तरह फीडिंग हो रहा है।
निरंजन जी, 5 ही दिन हुए हैं इस घटना को लेकर, आप क्या खुश हैं इन्वेस्टिगेशन जैसे चल रहा है उससे?
भी इतना दिन तो मेरे को सेटिस्फैक्शन नहीं हुआ, सच बता नहीं। आज सीएम साहब ने और डीके शिव कुमार जी ने, उप मुख्यमंत्री जी ने अच्छा कदम लिया हुआ है। उन्होंने पर्सनल डिस्कशन लिया है और कई मंत्री लोगों को मेरे पास भेज के, आज बेलगाम से लक्ष्मी हेब्बाळकर जी आए थे, उसके साथ डिस्ट्रिक्ट प्रेसिडेंट आए थे, डिस्ट्रिक्ट मिनिस्टर अपने संतोष लाड जी बात किए, ईश्वर खंड्रे जी बात किए और एमबी पाटिल जी बात किए। कई हमारे समाज के जो मंत्री लोग हैं उनसे भी मेरे से बात करवाए और उन्होंने भी रिपोर्ट ली क्या हुआ है, एक्चुअली क्या है करके फोन पे उनको भी मैंने रिपोर्ट किया। उसके साथ साथ हमारा जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट में युद्ध नेता है रजत उल्लाडीमठ, वो भी डीके शिव कुमार जी से साथ बात करवाया और उन्होंने मेरे को क्लियर बताओ करके मेरे को बोला फोन पे। उन्होंने सारे कल शाम को उन्होंने मेरे से रिपोर्ट लिया, मैंने जो हकीकत है वो सारा बता दिया। उसके बाद और अपने गवर्नमेंट में, अपने नेता में, अपने मंत्रिमंडल में और अपने सीएम के और गृह मंत्री को सब ये रिपोर्ट भेजने के बाद थोड़ा सा आज एक नया प्रेस मीट करके आज कुछ एक सीआईडी को रेफर किया है, वो मेरे को मालूम पड़ा है। उसके साथ साथ उसको कोर्ट बनाना, स्पेशल कोर्ट बनाना, फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट बनाना करके मांगता, वो भी उन्होंने किया है। और एक मैंने डिमांड रखा था कि नया कानून लेके आना है, नया कानून नया हिरेमठ के नाम से ही होना है, ऐसे लोगों को जो काम करने वाले को है और जैसे ये विपरीत मनस्थिति वाले को लोगों को नया कानून से एनकाउंटर का सिस्टम लेके आना करके मेरा डिमांड था, वो एक उन्होंने नहीं किया, उसका एक डिमांड है।
निरंजन जी, मेरा आखिरी सवाल ये है कि आपने सबसे सख्त पनिशमेंट, कैपिटल पनिशमेंट मांगी है फयाज के लिए, आप और पेरेंट्स से क्या बोलना चाहेंगे, आपका क्या मैसेज होगा?
अभी तो मेरा बेटी तो खत्म हो गया, वापस तो नहीं आएगी, लेकिन दूसरा नया मर्डर नहीं होना करके मेरा डिमांड है। आज सभी पेरेंट्स वाले डर गए हैं, कोई किसी को कॉलेज नहीं भेज रहे, सारा कॉलेज हॉस्टल वगैरह खाली हो गया है, सब अपने घर में रहने के लिए सोच रहे हैं, शादी करके अपने घर पे चले जाओ करके बोल रहे हैं, पढ़ने का नहीं चाहिए करके बोल रहे हैं, डर पैदा हो गया है। तो ये डर पैदा जो हुआ है ना, वो पेरेंट्स के लिए सब विश्वास बढ़ना है और स्टूडेंट को विश्वास बढ़ना है, तो एक उनके लिए विश्वास बढ़ना है बोले तो अच्छी तरह उसको एक कानून लेके आके उनको प्रोटेक्शन देना है। आगे किसी का मेरी बेटी हुआ ना वैसा दूसरा बेटी नहीं होना करके मैं डिमांड करता हूँ गवर्नमेंट से।
Alright, Niranjan Hiremat, the father of Neha Hiremat, the girl who was murdered on campus 5 days ago, हमसे बात करने के लिए बहुत धन्यवाद. Our deepest condolences, when we will be tracking this story very closely here on India Today. Remember, it's become a big election issue courtesy the BJP. Karnataka goes to the polls in 2 phases starting this Friday. Hubli goes in the next phase. It's already, as you can imagine, become a huge political issue.